Well, thank you, Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, this presentation was meant for some other session, but while we were discussing, and Mr. Chandrasekhar also mentioned about some aspects of education, I thought I'll take you through a part of this presentation, which you might find interesting. Actually, before I start, I would like to share one personal thought with you. I'm a son of the soil. I belong to Kashmir. And at a young age, I joined the engineering college over here. And the next year, the Doordarshan Kendra, the second Doordarshan Kendra in the country, was opened here in Srinagar. And it was my desire that I make a television set, assemble it on my own. I approached the professor over there in the engineering college. He told me, before you do that, why not you make a radio set first? That will give you confidence, and then you can go further. I said, okay. So I worked on that, the circuit design and other things, and finally got the components assembled, and when it came to working, nothing worked. So I went back to the professor. Sir, it's not working. I tried this. He said, go on tuning this, the capacitor here, the inductor here. Finally, after getting fed up, and also the fact that my father's salary at that point of time was about 600 rupees, and the cost, the investment I had done was almost the same amount, so I felt a bit bad about it. So I approached my father and told him about the facts. And he told me, it's not a problem. We have one gentleman in the neighbor. He has a shop in Mysuma Bazaar. We'll talk to him. He has a mechanic there who attends to radio sets. Maybe he might be able to do something about it. We did that. Approached this mechanic. His name was Ahmed. And he said, he had a look at it. He said, don't worry, I'll make it work. So, but he said, because I'm busy with other things, it will take a while. I said, okay, but I would also like to see how you do it. And finally, after about a week, 10 days time, it started working. Now I asked him, for God's sake, tell me what was wrong. Were the components wrong? What was wrong? So those of you who have something to do with electronics will understand this better. He told me it's simple. Every component has a tolerance limit, and here it's about 20% each. So you buy a 100 ohm resistor, it might be 80 ohms or maybe 120 ohms. So when you combine all these things, nothing may work. So you have to again look for the problem. So this was the first lesson in electronics I learned, and not from a professor, but from a mechanic. But there's something that happened to me around that time. I realized, yes, my father, he could afford to send me to an engineering college. And this man here, who has brains, who's intelligent, he's a mechanic and he'll die a mechanic. So I told him, what can I do for you? You please tell me. He said, nothing, okay, it's fine. I said, no, but my conscience doesn't allow it. He says, okay, teach me English. So I started teaching him English, but in the meantime, what happened, the shop owner also realized that it's becoming a nuisance. So then the gentleman told me, it's okay now, let's stop. But I didn't stop at that. I went to his home on Sundays and taught him English. But still I was not satisfied, because I felt that it's something grossly wrong in the society, that a person who's capable, who's intelligent, is not able to really get his best. And we are not able to get the best in the society. So what happened? This thought process remained on my mind for years, and till I happened to work on this project called the Pan-African E-Network project, which was conceived by our former president, Dr. Abdul Kalam, one of the greatest, I would say, the sons of this country. And he talked about bridging this digital divide between India and Africa. We are also a developing nation, but he said, let us talk about South-South cooperation. so that whatever little we know and do, let us share it with other people. No patenting business here. And while working on that project, another development happened, which Mr. Chandrasekhar already talked about, and that was formation of this National Skill Development Corporation, NSDC. And here, there was an opportunity where the people who don't have formal education due to one reason or the other, and in this case, what had happened, this Ahmed's father passed away young, and at the age of 11, he was forced to go in for this job. He learned directly on job, and I'm talking about this, and he was my age. So at the age of 16, he was an expert in this. So what he would have become had he got formal education is anybody's guess. So when this NSDC came, there was another challenge. Now there are so many maybe mechanics, car mechanics on the roadside, many in remote areas. How do they get even benefits out of the NSDC, which is a good platform wherein after a certification course you can go in for a diploma, after diploma why not a degree? And since he is an expert at a young age, maybe he does a doctorate also and has patents. Why not? So for this, the only enabler is again ICT and the type of project we did for Africa. So I'll just briefly give you some inputs on that. So I'll straight away go to this. This is the project I'm talking about, and this was first initiative in South-South cooperation, conceived as I mentioned by Dr. Kalam, and we were lucky at TCIL to be appointed the implementing agency on a turnkey basis for this. So this is something what the nature of the project was. On the left-hand side, you will see the Indian hospitals, 12 of them, all the leading ones, including the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, and also 5 leading universities of India, University of Madras, University of Delhi, and IGNOU, MIT, BITS Pilani. They are a part of it. The whole information from all these universities, the colleges, and the flow comes to a data center in New Delhi. It's in a TCIL Bhavan in Delhi. And from there, on a IPLC, International Private Lease Line, on submarine cable, it goes to Africa, Dakar, Senegal, where we established a satellite hub which beams into all the 54 nations of Africa. Now, all these countries had one medical college, and it's a super specialty hospital in each country, the capital of the state, and one university which became part of this particular project. And in order to ensure sustainability, 5 regional hospitals and 5 super specialty, 5 universities were chosen from each part of Africa who would do the same job as India is doing at present after the 6.5 years term is over in July 2014. Now, these are some of the Indian universities, some of the Indian hospitals which are a part of it. And these are the special universities, including, you'll notice that it's Egypt also is a part of it, Alexandria University and hospital, they're a part of it. They'll do the same tasks which the Indian universities are doing at present. So the role of TCIL was complete network solution design, turnkey implementation of this project, operation maintenance for 5 years after commissioning of 1.5 years, providing tele-education, telemedicine services, and also taking the content and other aspects of it. So the major components were construction of the hub station building, that also we did at TCIL, supply installation of all the satellite hub equipment, the VSAT network, the satellite network, data center in 2 places in India and Africa, and other ICT equipment, and also the medical equipment. It was 10 pieces of medical equipment, both diagnostic and others, for this. These were some of the medical equipment that was supplied along with this. And the major benefits that were intended were about 10,000 people were supposed to be trained on this network and awarded degrees, postgraduate and graduate degrees. And what has happened before completion of this particular period, we have already crossed this 10,000 mark, and it's more than 10,200 students, majority of them registered for postgraduate programs in marketing, in international business and other aspects. Besides this, there were components of tele-education, telemedicine, and offline advice for patients. And the last you'll see there is the continuing medical education. This is a major feature wherein experts from India, 12 leading hospitals, they share their thoughts on a specific subject which is chosen by the African hospitals, the doctors. They speak on this. There are 72 sessions in a month and 24 of them in French for the Francophone nations of Africa. These are 48 nations of Africa who are a part of this network, and more than 10,266 students from 41 countries are a part of it, and more than 4,000 tele-education sessions have been delivered, and these are some of the aspects of education, including MBA and other things, as you notice. There is also online medical education. 3,114 sessions have happened up to April, and of course a lot of telemedicine consultations also happened. And talking about the capacity building, you know, one young boy of about 14 years, he was suffering from brain tumor. It was a big challenge because nobody would take the responsibility of curing that patient in Senegal. So the option was to take him abroad. The airlines refused to take him because he's a serious patient. So what was the option left? They contacted Escorts Hospital in Delhi, and finally operation was conducted online under the guidance of those doctors, and it was successful. And this is how those doctors also learned how to undergo the education process. It helped them also. So these are some of the pictures. This is the VSAT building we constructed from scratch. The antenna, 9.3 meter big antenna over there. The station, this data center in New Delhi. This is our studio in New Delhi, from where a lot of education also happens. This is a telemedicine session in progress. Here doctors interacting with the Indian doctors to gain knowledge and understand things. And here is one of the learning centers in Addis Ababa and Harmaya in Ethiopia. Here you see Dr. Kalam, who